quick, and I want to introduce you. I actually have another friend coming on, Rafaela. She was supposed to be on last week. She's also a spiritual person too. So I didn't want you both on, but that's fine. I mean, this is the way it works out, right?
Totally.
So let me introduce you. My friend is a spiritual person. She's an awesome person. She's an author. She's a musician. She's what else are you, Aurora? You're so many different things.
I don't know. I do so many things, but it's really that's just what happens when you're so divinely guided and totally surrendered to spirit. Then you become this vehicle and everything just starts pouring through you.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about tell me a little bit about your childhood. I mean, when I look back at my childhood, it was a past that, even though I had fond memories of it, a lot of it was, uh, molestation, abuse, and neglect from a lot of my family members and friends and stuff like that. So take me into what you went through and then how you became so spiritual.
Um, Well, as most of us starseeds, I was just having a conversation with a very good friend just a few days ago, and we were talking about how most of us starseeds, how we've been all abused when we were children, and we've had it really, really hard. And well, I had the same situation. I had a very abusive mother, a narcissistic mother, unable to give or feel any love, and she would beat the crap out of
Oh
me.
my God.
And yeah, and she really, it was almost as if she hated me. And she was this very, very cold person, and I was just terrified by her always. And then on the other side, there was my dad, who was very kind and very loving, very spiritual. And I think I was 8, and we always had to watch the 8 p.m. news on TV. I was raised in Germany, so we were living in Germany and watching the German news, 8 p.m., the important news of the day. And my dad, everybody had to be quiet. He had to watch the news. And there was, I don't remember what it was, but there was something really, really depressing going on in the news, something really bad. And it kind of made me think, and it kind of gave me anxiety. And then I asked my dad, and he said something very, very important to me on that day that I'll never forget. And he said that you always have to use your own brain and your own, your own, yeah, just use your own brain and think for yourself. Just
Right.
because somebody's on TV and says something, it doesn't mean that they're telling you the truth. So that was the first thing. And then, of course, I used to read his spiritual books whenever he was finished with a book, and he would tell this book was so amazing. Now I would take the book and read it. And but besides that, I remember when I was very, very young. I don't have memories before I was 6 about this, but that's maybe just because I was very young.
Okay.
But I remember clearly from the age of 6 until like 7, 8, 9-ish, maybe even 10-ish. I don't think after that, but within this time frame, the Galactic Federation would pick me up in my room in the middle of the night, and then they would take me to their ships, and then they would do all kinds of healings and upgrades and testing with me. It was very laboratory style, but it was not nothing to be afraid. I was never afraid. I was never scared. I don't remember the feeling of fear, not even once when I was with them. It was like very natural. It was very normal.
Right.
And they were very familiar, and it was for me the process was like that, this is normal. And it's just like when you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast, and you go to school. It's just the same kind of normal. And yes, yeah, so my room, the wall of my room was literally dematerialized, and they were there with some kind of a platform, and usually two people or two beings. And I would just jump on that platform, and I don't know from that platform how I got to the ship. I do have these leaks and these little holes in my memory, but then I remember inside of the ships, inside
Wow.
of the medical area of those ships. And I don't know how they brought me back to my room. I just know that I was suddenly sitting, little tiny little girl sitting on my bed, and thinking to myself, great, guys, you can't just drop me off here. I remember everything. So what if I tell somebody? Like, but then a little baby girl just falls asleep, and next morning you get up, you go to school, and you don't remember these things, you don't think of it. And so, but then you grow older, and then you look back and you go like, wow, what was that?
So when did you find out you were a starseed? When you were going through that transition?
I didn't know what the word starseed
I
means
still don't know. I'm still
until
kind of
maybe 10
confused.
years ago. So I was actually always awake in my life, and I started channeling when I was 15. I started channeling the angels that were around me. And when I was a child, I had like so many angels around me. I would always talk to them, and everybody would say, why is this child talking so much with herself? I said, I'm not talking to myself.
I did that a lot too. See, I was a born and only child. Just let me relate a little bit to you. I was
Yeah.
born an only child, and years ago, when I was young, was sexually abused
Oh,
by men and women, babysitter, and then her brother. And then, of course, my father beat me, and then I was bullied at school. So I had all these little different things that translate. Let me bring in Raffaella real quick. Um, Rafaela's so sweet too. Um, Raffaella, hi dear.
hey.
Aurora Ray, meet Raffaella. She's another spiritual lady.
Hi, Rafaela. Nice to meet you.
I think Raffaella, you're in Texas. You're in Spain. Well, you're so clear. You're beautiful in Spain.
Thank you.
She's waiting for her audio to connect. But
Okay,
that's pretty much what happened to me. So that brought me to my prominence and where I'm at. But I still don't understand what some people say that I'm Pleiadian and I'm a starseed. I don't know if I really see that. I just see myself as a person just grew up, you know. Um, how does one know what they are? I mean, I really don't know what I am.
well, the thing is, when we incarnate to this planet, you know this, we suffer from amnesia, and that is because the birthing process, the way we do it on planet Earth, is so traumatizing. So it's mostly really because of that trauma that happens, and then the baby comes to Earth and it's in a hospital, and then there's this neon lighting, and they have already scared everything out of this poor woman who is about to become a mother. They've told her so many different scenarios of what could possibly go wrong, and then she's totally freaked out, and she's afraid of, so much afraid of the pain that they actually will have pain. And and the baby comes out, they cut the umbilical cord way too fast, so that this bonding and the transfer that is there of energetic, not only energetic, but it's a quantum level, the mental, emotional, physical, super health that we should have as the human race is cut off by cutting off that umbilical cord within a split second that the baby is in the world. And only the baby coming out of there screaming means that the baby is experiencing trauma. And so we forget, we do not have our memories intact of who we are,
Right.
where we come from. Then there are some of us that we do have fragments of memory, and we remember that in another world, in another dimension, I am this being, maybe I have that name, maybe I have that job. Then some of us do recollect pieces of their memory through meditation, through spiritual practice, cleansing the body, and all these things that raise the frequency, which is the important thing, so we can connect there. But first of all, I really want to emphasize that it's not really important to know who you are or where you come from. That is, in my opinion, if you many people get lost in that, and then so many people, they have a spiritual awakening, and they go, they come back, and they say, I am this and I am that, and I connect to those beings, and I connect. Like, who cares? It's like, what's the bottom line here? Like, is this of help for me? Is this of help for you? Is this helping the planet? Does this make the planet more healthy, more loving, more spiritual, more evolved?
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's just another ego trap. So really, it's not that important. On the other side, if you have a feeling and a longing and the desire, this yearning, if it is there in your soul to know, where am I from, it means you are from somewhere. And I think that feeling alone is so important, that you do have this feeling, and then what do you do with it? How do you channel it? And the only thing this planet needs is people who think about this planet and not about themselves.
I agree with you 100%. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you.
I hear you and see you
Good.
beautiful.
Welcome, Raffaella.
Oh my goodness. I've been waiting for what she's saying forever because there is two different camps here that are playing us the same way everything else is happening. And if we think that our spiritual communities are not compromised, then we're not paying attention. What she's talking about is very clear that there is an agenda also in what I call the New Age movement. And how can we ask the question, does an animal feel pain? Do they have a soul? Does a child feel pain? And do they have a soul? These are things that are kind of put underneath everything that we do so that we feel like, no, maybe not, or we don't think about it. You know, but when we're looking for our awakening, like she said, that, you know, people want to be this or they want to be that, that's part of the programming. You have to find yourself, but the self is limited to a small amount of time for you to know who you are, for you to know what is righteous, for you to know what is good in this world. But because we are bombarded by so much misinformation and deception that a lot of people are not, they stop thinking. How can a spiritual person be okay with what's happening to children? How does a spiritual community don't even want to talk about it?
Yes.
They don't even, I mean, I have been dislodged from so many
Me
groups.
too.
At first, I was very sad. I'm like, but these are my tribe. But see, even that right there is separation. My tribe, you know, now you're cornering yourself to be with this group or that group when we separated ourselves because we didn't like religion. But I grow with no separation. I still love religion. I understand what happened. I know spirituality. I understand what happened. And I know how to keep myself clear, but a lot of people don't. I try to have a lot of patience. Now you have those people that are saying, am I from Venus? My spirit is from here or from there. And to me, it's like they want you to be something you're not, and then they got you. What's wrong with being human?
Well,
What's wrong with loving each
Aurora's,
other?
Aurora's like that. I mean, she's so spiritual. I mean, she's always got a great thing to say that stays positive. You know that, and isn't that what our goal is? Always stay positive, even though all that stuff is going on. I don't ignore it. I'm aware of it, and I try to stop it as best we can. Right, but you're right. A lot of people will ignore it, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away.
Ignoring makes it worse because
Makes it
we live
worse.
in a time
Right.
with all the technology that we have, we've become even more stupid and more unaware and more ignorant of each other. And that's the problem. A true empath has to know the pain other people are going through. How could this nation, a Christian nation that knows God, have allowed children to go under the radar to the degree that we have now for over 75 years?
Crazy.
This didn't just happen.
Yeah.
I was a child, I'm 60 years old. I was a child when I was asking my mother, why are these? I told her, I want them to put my picture on the container of the milk. And my mother said, no, never. No, we don't
You
want
knew,
that.
you knew there was something
I
going on.
never knew why until, let's say, 20 years ago. The first child that I saw on a box was uh, Ethan Patz. I was 8 years old. Do you see? So now my brain connecting to all that awareness is making the truth feel in my body. And people should stop to feel when someone tells them the truth in their body because they don't. The minute you say something that's abrasive or that they don't understand,
Right.
it
Right.
becomes a fight.
Right.
And this is part of that programming. It is part of the separation that we have to overcome. We have to overcome. We have to be open to listen, to share stories, you know, and we have to be able to understand that spirituality is absorbing, not reflecting out. when you absorb somebody else's story, you become more empathic. And your body is doing that naturally when you're feeling other people's emotion. But
Yes.
people stop. They want to feel, oh, she's sad, oh, she's this, but then they don't really want to hear the bottom of it, because then it bothers us, it triggers us. So people are not completely empathic. They feel a
No.
little bit and then they stop. I think she wants to tell me something. I want to hear what she has. I'm sorry, I came in late.
No,
I
no, we
didn't
love you. We love you. No, no,
We're
no,
happy
no.
you're here. You are beautiful.
We love you.
didn't get your name, my beautiful princess. What is your name?
Aurora. My name is Aurora.
Oh, how befitting, Aurora. But yeah, I came in at the perfect timing as you are expressing the numbness. I call it the numbness in the
Beautiful.
spiritual community.
That's what it is. It's not wanting to step out of this comfort zone, because if I do step out of this comfort zone, I have to accept that there's evil going on this planet. There are children, the most beautiful, most pure beings on our planet that need our protection. We failed them. We
Yes,
as a race, we have to understand that we have failed the very first, the easiest, the most simple task that we had. You know, like we always say, you had one job. We had one job as a race, and we miserably failed. And we are still failing. And even the spiritual community is still failing, because they're still trying to find out whether they are the incarnation of the Archangel
Right,
Michael
right,
or
yep.
Saint Germain or Mary Magdalene. Like, who freaking cares? It's
it's
like, can
illusions.
you walk on water?
It's an illusion to escape. And
Exactly.
that's the programming. This is MK Ultra.
Yes.
It's put in the airwave. It's
Yes.
on our phone. Have you noticed? And I don't like how people take the conspiracy theorist to be such a misfit or such a charlatan when that person really cares. You know what? I could be on my phone typing to somebody and all of a sudden it glitches. I've noticed so many things happening that now I cut my phone time because I know something is going on there
Yes.
to stop me from doing certain things.
That's what they do. They target us, and then through the electronics that we use, through the Wi-Fi that we use, it's frequency control. They target us and then they attack us. And
Here's
they,
how I found out, because I'm talking to people. We're talking about the pain that children are going through. And I put a lot of videos. The last video was of children that were in Afghanistan that were being commuted or trafficked in these big water. You know how they carry the water? It's a big metal truck.
Yep.
exactly, yes,
Putting,
yes.
yeah, they're putting the children in there. And I just posted that video yesterday. And so I say to a mother, imagine you
Yeah.
changing a diaper. And you've changed your baby's diaper since your baby was born. And all of a sudden you have one thought one day. This is how it happens. You have one thought one day to put your finger in there inappropriately. I've had mothers who've told me this has happened to them.
Wow.
And people that are good, that know that this is not them, know that there is a thought in there. And where did it come from? And I tell them, well, we have lots of voices. One of that, is that God? No. If you know this is not you, then who is it? I have people in my classes tracking their thoughts because something is also getting in there. You think that's all these transgender, all of this body augmentation is normal. It
No, it's
didn't happen before technology. So it's something has happened.
Something in the water, something in the air, the chemtrails, something mixed somewhere.
the food
Well,
or the
here's who we
vaccines.
trust. Here's who we trust. We didn't go get a vaccine, but we went to the dentist. If the dentist is one of them, you've been chipped. If you went to the gynecologist and a regular pap smear, and the gynecologist is one of them, you've already been checked. You know, I study the mind to the effect that you should know the self. And this is what all the religions and all the esoteric and all the occult tradition are teaching us.
You
They
go,
all say
girl.
the same thing.
You go.
The same thing. And so if you know good, you must do good at all times, even what food you eat.
Oh yes.
If you've heard that they have modified corn and you still eat it, but you know it, you have already corrupted the way you think. So you can no longer trust your thoughts. You see what I'm saying? And all of these things, if you hear McDonald's is kind of questionable, why are you taking your kids there?
Yeah, I totally.
They got us on what I call, Gene, and Aurora, the split intent. Are we really good people? If we have a split intent, if we know that show on TV is pushing witchcraft programming, not that witchcraft is bad. I studied it, but their brand of it, just like New Age, everything has been compromised. It has ideas in there that's going to corrupt who you are as a person. So here you are with the split intent. If you know that show is bad, but you like it, don't watch it. Because you're going to like things that you should not have. And that's how they get us. Don't have a split intent.
That's how we open the portal for them to come and attach themselves
Exactly.
to us and start whispering in our minds. It's what I tell my friends. I say, if you know that there is a matrix, then why are you sending your children to school? Why are you paying so much money so your child can go to this school, not that school? If you know that this is a matrix and your children are being programmed.
Exactly.
What's the
Where
response,
is the
Aurora?
authenticity here?
What's the
Where
response?
is the integrity?
What's the response when you say that?
They don't say anything. They look at you with that
Right.
that blank
You're in a headlight.
wide
They
stare.
automatically get angry at you. They don't even think.
Yeah.
The trigger is so fast. The minute you give them that kind of answer, they are belligerent or they tune you off, they unplug you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're no longer somebody that they have a connection with. And I never could understand, how can someone disconnect from someone they've loved all their lives? Because that's happened to me even with my own children.
Family. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, they look at you like, what are you going crazy? Where are you going? Why? All my other friends and my family they're beautiful. They're wonderful people. But because I'm looking somewhere else and I'm saying, wait, this isn't right. Why are we doing this? They're like, what's wrong with you? Everybody else is going along with the program. Well, I don't want to go along with the program because I know it's wrong. Just what you said.
Yep. I get called the baby boomer.
Baby boomer, why that?
Wear the badge proudly.
Because we're the old people that don't know technology, and we're the old people that don't really know what's going on because they think we don't know technology. And what we know is the times. We know how things have shifted, how things have moved.
Yes.
You know, I want to live till I'm 200 years old because I want to see how things cyclical, how things do their patterns, and how things get out of certain things. And so far, this is what's bringing me the wisdom, just to be able to observe. But if you are just observing your phone, what happened to reality in
That's your little
nature?
world. That's
It
your
goes away.
little
And
world.
that's what's wrong with everybody. That they have lost their intuition. They rather for the people with these degrees and the doctors and the lawyers and all these people with degrees that went to Harvard that have been programmed to program us. Those are the only people they listen to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the problem is also humanity is completely disconnected, which goes back to the birthing process on which they cut off the umbilical cord immediately under neon light in a unfriendly, unhappy hospital that only is there to promote fear. And you know, it's really, I was just visiting Frankfurt. Frankfurt is my hometown. It's a town, it's in Europe. It's like New York in America. It's all these high rises, very busy, a banking town. It's a very, very demonic place. It's very deep state, demonic place to be. And still, it is my hometown. I was raised there. I still have love for
Yeah.
this town. I remember happy times of my childhood there, my teenage years, and all these memories. But then I have these friends they've always been living there. I've moved away from there like long time, very long time, I think 15 years ago. And I have spent my life very close to nature, and I'm very, very connected to nature, and I cannot live without nature. Having nature in my life every day, whether it's I'm going for a run, I'm jogging, or I'm just laying on the grass, on the sand, somewhere in nature, meditating, or just dreaming, just thinking, or just not doing anything at all, just being there, connected to nature, and just taking in that energy, taking in that purity, taking in that wisdom. I found stones that told me more interesting stories than many people I met in my life. Very deep stories. Literally, just a stone that was there that called me. I picked it up, held it in my hand, and it started transmitting some kind of information to me.
And
And
this is very strong right now because
yeah.
we are receiving a high amount of cosmic energy.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want to sound new agey, but that is truly happening when they say there's a shift. But if you're feeling some kind of a shift, why aren't you shifting
Mm.
why aren't they shifting to see all that is happening to us? You cannot be a spiritual religious loving person and allow blacks imagine this. We're now facing slavery,
Crazy. Just crazy.
but we're facing slavery
The
on a
mask was crazy.
multi-dimensional level like this, and it never left. They just stopped shackling you where you can see the shackles. But if children have been enslaved for over 75 years, how we've been out of slavery for almost 200 years, but we've never been out of nothing.
No,
It
exactly.
just has been there the whole entire time. This is something nobody wants to hear because they're not in nature. Just like
Exactly.
Aurora was saying, their intuition is gone.
Well, we are getting all this cosmic light, the photon gamma light that is regularly being blasted onto this planet through the central sun. It's coming. It needs a receptacle. A human that is not connected to Earth is not a receptacle.
It's
It
not a
goes boom.
receptacle.
It's like a reflecting, like a mirror. When the light hits the mirror and it reflects 3 times harder back, and it goes into your eyes, and you go like, "Oh my God, I'm blind." And that's what's happening to people. That's what's happening to the spiritual community, or to those people who are just
100%.
yeah, or those who are just awakening. They cannot, because you have to take this and you have to anchor it. But if you are not grounded yourself, how are you going to anchor it? And then, people, they meditate, they start eating lots of vegan food, and what happens is you get lost in those higher spheres, not understanding that we are in a human body on Earth, a physical planet with a physical body. This body belongs to this Earth. I must connect this body to this earth. I must have roots that are strong and deeply connected with Mother Gaia. I always tell people, I say, give me one answer. I just have one question. When did you go to nature, put your forehead on the ground, and asked Mother Gaia for forgiveness? When did you ask her to heal you? When did you ask her to help you upgrade?
But see what happens with that? Because that's how I live also. Jean knows.
Yes.
When you
Oh,
try to
wait a
show that to
minute.
other people, you know what that becomes? Witchcraft.
Well, For some, yes.
Because it's out of the norm. That's why.
They're not ready.
Comes witchcraft, and that is correct, because the very first religions to the world in humanity was the following of the goddess, which was the earth, the
Yes,
planet. All
exactly.
the indigenous people that I work with, they love the planet in such a way that that is that energy that we had when we had that connection. But it has been dissected and cut into lots of little pieces and given all these terrible labels.
Exactly.
And when the church called
It's
it
the box.
witchcraft, when it was, the religion of the earth, and paganism, the word paganism means lover of the earth anyway, a country dweller, whatnot. And so now it has all of these fragmented labels to keep you from going back to the roots. And all that cosmic energy, you're so right, is being wasted with people who say, I don't want to believe in Jesus, but now you're believing in something in the same way, but you are breaking it and putting it into minuscule. And I tell people, when you want to believe, that is yours, but don't keep it in just belief. Bring it into a knowing. If you say to me, I believe in the goddess, or I believe in Jesus, or I believe in air, you don't know it. You just believe it. How about if you go back and then you know it, and that becomes your pores? And then you'll never fight over what somebody else knows or doesn't know, believes or doesn't believe. Because inside of us, we're looking for the Akashic records.
Yes.
It's part of our pituitary gland. It's part of our pineal gland. It's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are. We are an antenna. And if you don't clean up your system, and if you don't go to find out what kind of person you want to design yourself to be, you're always going to be a conduit of everything that's out there in the world. This is when they say, be in the world, but not of it. You need to be in nature, but not of what man creates in error. We are creating a lot of things in error because we are not connected to what is naturally good, equally good for everyone.
The very roots of our
The
existence
very roots are, yeah,
are.
baby.
That is the goddess. God is not some imaginary man with a white beard somewhere far away in the sky.
We're
No,
part
it's
of that
actually
God.
a woman, a goddess, and she's right here underneath our feet. When was the last time you talked to her? When was the
Laura,
last time you?
Aurora, I want you to hold on, Raphael. I want you to
Mhm.
talk about your book, I Am, because a
I
couple of
am
years
God.
ago, yes, a couple of years ago, I got that book from you guys, and Michael Love, and of course you. That book was amazing. I still have that book on a computer somewhere, but it was an amazing book. Can you talk a little bit about that, because that is actually the process we're kind of going through, but
Mhm.
each person's going through their own individual process, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, the title of the book is I Am God because once you understand how everything works, you understand that you are responsible for everything that happens to you. You
Exactly.
can
Oh,
love
you're so
God,
beautiful.
you can
Oh,
love
Laura,
Jesus, which is all beautiful and perfect and good to do, but it does not mean that they are responsible, they have any power to change your life, and they won't, and that will be a violation of your free will. We live in a free will universe. Free will is one of the highest galactic codexes that we have. It's like our galactic constitutional law, so to say.
Absolutely.
And it's really understanding that I am the God of my own universe. I
right.
am the creator of my own world. And of course, this also this understanding and this knowing, as Raphael said before,
Mhm.
is also something that comes with the ascension process. So in this book, I channeled every word in this book from Mother Gaia directly. It's a very long story, but at some point I meditated, and I suddenly, it was as if the earth just like swallowed me, and I went into this super beautiful place, which I know now was the fifth dimension.
Right.
And I was on this beautiful field with the animals and the trees and the flowers, and everything was just like 100 million times more beautiful than the most beautiful piece of nature you can imagine.
That you can eat. Yes, exactly.
And then there was this woman sitting a little bit far, and she was so beautiful. I had never seen anything like this. And as I was approaching closer, I could see that her legs were not really legs. They were like tree grown roots into the earth. And she had this very long hair, and her eyes were so big and like a deer. Her eyes were like a deer. She was so beautiful. And the love she was emitting was so crazy. And I did not know who Gaia was back then. It's a very long time ago. And I had never even heard the name Gaia. And so I approach her, and then I stand her, and telepathically I ask her, who are you? And she says, I am. And I understand. She says, Aya. And I look at her and I say, Aya. And she says, no, Gaia. And I go, huh. And I stand there and just think. And then there was just an energetic exchange where she was showering me with so much love and giving me so much unconditional love, and like really in that little amount of time that I was there, healing me somehow. I can't even put it into words. And then I came back from this meditation, and I thought like, oh my God, what was that? And I Googled it. I literally went to my computer and I typed into the search field, I said, who is Gaia? And the computer said, the mother goddess of earth. And I went like,
You were like,
oh,
whoa.
That is.
what the heck is going on here? And I was like freaking out. And and that kept coming back, and then I kept seeing her and communicating to her energetically, and and she was teaching me what to do, how to do it, and so on and so forth. And she was like really coming through me. And so I started writing this whole book. And yeah, there was this Michael Love person, and who wanted to contribute to the book, and he did contribute a little bit. And then 6 months later, I found out, because this guy is a charlatan. And 6 months later, I found out that the few little things that he did contribute, they were copied from other people's books. So I had to edit the whole thing and cut all that out and throw it away and
You
replace
went
it.
through that. There's always people like that. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's sad.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
too
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, he's a
But you
really
got it. You caught it and you cleaned it up, and
totally,
that's
yeah.
that's good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, yeah. But the book is really, until this day, I don't even know how many thousand people have read it. I've lost track at some point, but I just know that many people from 10 years ago, they still contact me and they say I was traveling. I just had recently one who said I was traveling 8 years ago through Peru when I purchased your book, and it totally changed my life. I had so many people come to me, tell me this book changed my life.
It did to me too.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Let me
because
explain what happened to me, Aurora. What happened to me is my life was kind of in a shambles with a lot of things. You know, a lot of bad health issues with back pain from working for 25 years with the state police. But what I found out, what reading that book, me and my wife, 29 years together, we found out that by reading that book, we are responsible for ourselves. She's
Yes,
responsible for herself. I'm responsible for myself. So
beautiful.
we can't blame anybody for anything. And we can't rely on anybody for anything. So if I'm responsible for myself, I want the best food going in me. I want the best around me. I want the best people, the loving people, the caring people around me. And wherever it works out, great. Wherever it doesn't, I don't care about it. So
yeah,
that's what the I Am book taught me. And I seek out the best people, the spiritual, loving, caring people, because like we were talking, Raphael, about vibing your tribe. That's kind of what we do this, but we're not looking for approval. We're not looking for people to go, oh yeah, you're right. No, I don't care about that, because I am what I am.
Exactly.
exactly. And we're all
Absolutely.
this together here, and we must not look outside and on what is it there that we can do, and what is it here that, no, Only you and yourself.
Right.
You have to heal yourself, not other people. You have to master your body, your mind, your soul, your emotions. We have a lot of work to do. And it starts with your diet, because if you
Mhm.
cannot even
So true.
have enough discipline to have a clean diet, and I'm not saying you should be, but many people, because I also,
No, 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 no. Tell people. I want people to know.
No,
yeah, no, I
please say
also wrote
it. Say it.
I wrote a book with raw food recipes, and it's the Raw Evolutionist, and it's only my raw food recipes, which I originally invented as an Ascension diet. But then I thought, if I call it Ascension diet, nobody might eat it or buy it or try it. But if I call it raw food, just because that's a thing, then I have
Hmm.
a lot more people, and it actually worked out, because I managed to awaken a lot of people who weren't. That was not what they're looking for, but that was like the big bonus that they got. But then many people think I eat only raw vegan food. And I say, no, I tried that. But if you do eat only raw vegan food, you get too airy and you're not grounded. You need to be anchored. So you do need to eat some eggs and some cheese and some milk and some meat and fish and things like this. But you have to look up the quality. You don't get that chemical stuff full of hormones or full of antibiotics or full of heavy metals, which is in the fish.
Hmm.
And you then eat a little less. If it's more expensive, then you eat a little less. There are always solutions, and that's what we need to focus on. How can I self-reflect? What's your thoughts? Was the things that I was thinking yesterday, was that
Hmm.
clean? Was that pure? Who does it serve? Does it serve anybody?
Right.
Because if it does not serve me, and it does not
And
serve
why
you,
do it?
and it does not serve the planet, then we don't
Why
freaking need
do it?
that.
We don't need that. I usually tell people, from my perspective and what I do for myself, it's very simple. I eat to moderation.
Mhm.
But where I am very picky is what corporation, what logo, who are these people that I'm giving my money to? Because, I learned a long time ago, I am not going to pay you for a drink like the any of the drinks that are out there that for energy that are laced with a bunch of stuff that is part of the programming and hurting you physically now.
Right.
So I'm not going to go spend $2.50 to get sick, to get cancer. Nobody ever wonders why 50, 60 years ago,
So
we
agree.
were not having so much cancer, but now everybody's dying of something. Everybody's got this and that. It's part of those agendas. And
Exactly.
now we can see how all those corporations are connected to these groups and that groups and this group, and that's what I pay attention to. But I used to not eat meat. I went totally I went through this whole entire
My wife too.
worrying about what I ate as opposed to enjoying something until I woke up and it's more like, okay, I am not going to eat anything that has been put through this uh, agenda, let's say.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
eat very natural. I go to the farm and pick, the squash and the tomatoes, and I go there and pick different things at different times. And you could tell the difference with what you're picking at the farm than what you're buying at the supermarket. You can look at the tomatoes and know the difference. You can look at the squash.
Yep.
The squash that I buy at the farm has a very thick skin, which is very nutritious. So
No
we
wax on
have
it
to
either.
go out and look at the difference.
Right. And it's not irradiated. It's not devoid of any nutrients. It doesn't have a wax on it, which is
Very
a food
different.
wax, which
Mhm.
controls a lot of the residents of the stuff coming in. It's not grown genetically modified with the seed genetically modified. So it can avoid all the chemicals that they spray into it. So yes. My,
Oh, it's so different. I had a zucchini and a butterscotch squash, and then I brought the ones from the store and I showed my kids. I'm like, look, this is not the same.
Totally
Absolutely.
different. And the
It's
frequency
not
of
the
that
same.
food, I
Frequency.
have, I teach these holistic health classes about food and nutrition and these things. And I have these pictures, these images that I show my students where you can clearly see a normally grown tomato, for example, or
Right.
zucchini or whatever, and an organic one. And you can see it's with an energy frequency machine, these pictures, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a way that they can put that in an image and you can see the
You
vibration,
can
you
see
can
it.
see the energy where this auric field of this tomato is just a little bit and the other one is like shining in all these colors. It has energy. And Nikola Tesla, he said that the human brain and the earth herself vibrate on the exact same frequency, which means that the food coming from earth natural has the exact same frequency as my brain and my human body. So that is an amazing food source for me to nourish me, to help me raise my vibration. And if anybody would ask me, say, if I want to be spiritual, okay, just imagine somebody would ask you, say, I want to be spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? And I say, you focus on you. You make you right. You clean up your thoughts. You clean up your body. You clean up your emotions. You work on you. And when you have mastered one or all of these on a quantum level, which is physically, mentally, emotionally, astrally, spiritually, it's these 5 sacred bodies that we have. If you have mastered one of these, that's already enough. If you've mastered all of them or several, perfect, amazing, beautiful. If you are able to manage to master one of these bodies, then you become a role model, and then you step into the role of the teacher and the healer, and you show the next person in line how to do it. And you don't need to go to one of these 3D matrix schools that just take your money and create more slaves, or the higher ones create those who show the others how to create slaves. It's a
Absolutely.
You're right.
complete
You're right.
madness, right?
Absolutely.
And that's how we change the world. This is what spirituality means, nothing else. Because if you
Making me
can't
cry.
do
I'm
it on
crying.
your
I'm
own,
actually crying. Look, I am actually crying right now.
You're so sweet, Jean. I
I
love
love you
you.
guys. I love you. You're just so both amazing. I love you as friends. I
I
love you as
think
same,
trying to change
same,
your
Runa.
world. And
you brought me a beautiful goddess to talk to today. I am
she's
so
awesome.
excited.
Same.
It
Aurora
is
is
so
awesome.
awesome.
Me
Both
too.
are. You
It's
both
so
are.
beautiful. Makes my heart so happy.
You
You're
compliment
absolutely
so,
gorgeous,
so much.
inside and out. I'm so happy to meet you.
You too.
So
Same,
You were,
Runa.
you
so
were saying,
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead,
No,
Jean.
I was just to say. So the I Am book. I want people to know where they can still get it. I'm still crying. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm crying.
Send me a link
It's
or
spiritual
a picture
joy.
of it, and I'll promote it, and I'll go. I want to read it. I want to know all about it.
Amazing
I will
book.
do
It
that. So
really is.
the name is I Am God. It's just
Okay.
because it's written I am really big and then God really
Right,
small.
right, right,
It
right.
has a reason because everybody is a God. You just have to awaken your Christ consciousness and ascend a little bit so you can awaken your own God, your God within. And I call it God and not goddess because I feel like the word God doesn't have a gender because it's genderless. Once you get there, you are both, and you need to work on both of your energies, the male and the female. And so this book, yeah, it's available. We have an affiliate program, and we have created this affiliate program. It
I love
came
that.
in this crisis, in this world crisis that we're going through the past 6 months,
Oh
because
my
I
goodness.
realized that I've been for many years studying online business and online marketing very very intensely, and so I wanted to create something where people like us and those who are still figuring things out, still are awakening, are those who are just right now maybe only seeing that something's not right, that they're
Yeah,
questioning.
they need it the most.
Yeah,
The
and
ones
it's
that are
not only that
just
you need the book, but also
peaking.
I created a way that you can make money with
Right.
this book because this book is very important. And so we have this affiliate program, which is very, very simple and straightforward. Every 6-year-old child could do that. And I teach everything how to do it exactly, and everything is ready. And everybody gets, when you sign up for that, it's for free. It's absolutely no obligations, no
You
catch,
that's the way you're
nothing.
supposed to do it.
And Yeah, you get your own link after you sign up, and then you can do a nice post, you can channel whatever, and you just put this link underneath it. And anybody who signs up with your link, you do earn 40%. That's a very juicy
That's
affiliate
wonderful.
program,
Yes, I didn't know
40%,
that.
you
That's
know.
wonderful. I
So
want to.
Well,
everybody
cool.
can create a building, can build a living for themselves with an online business, and you don't need to have any products. And we, with the Galactic Federation, we've put some stuff together. Now it's a book, it's a membership, but there's some stuff that you can also get recurring stuff. So that I think is really, really a nice thing for everybody. Now that everybody is worried and many people have lost their jobs, they're sitting at home, having more time than before, less money than before, and you know, just doing what you do already is sharing good stuff on social media, and that's just a link that you add, and you can make a
Mhm.
living.
Well, make sure that you catch me on Facebook,
For
and I
sure.
can move some of your work and your book on uh, a lot of my different outlets. I want people to know you. I'm just.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Aurora, that's another question I had for you too.
Mhm.
With the things with Facebook is just it's getting really ridiculous.
Oh gosh, it's getting awful.
So is there any other format or program that we can go on where we can actually do what we were doing that we were doing on Facebook? I don't know if there is any. Is there?
There are a few. There is one. It's called Parler, like speaking in French.
Hmm.
Parler, Parler, and that is. I haven't figured it out, but we are putting some of our posts. One of our team members, I think, is putting our posts also there every day, and I think that many of the truthers they have moved over there, like the QAnon people, because you cannot post that stuff anyway. I have gotten so many threats from
Me too.
Facebook.
Me too. Yep. No, you're
Me
right.
It's like
too.
a
You
few
know,
months.
I get it.
I only put galactic stuff and channels and things like this on my Facebook. I rarely put anything else anymore. I'm just afraid because the last few times I got
Oh,
such
you'll get death
serious
threats. Yeah.
warnings.
And the thing is that I always go after pedophiles, and now I've got people saying, "Why are you going after them? They're innocent people. They're
Yeah.
people that are." I mean, it's like
Can
my
you
world is
believe
like
that?
it's like they're saying, "Oh my God,
That
they've got a problem just
infuriates
like
me.
everybody else," and that's what they want you to think. That
Yeah.
it's it's a disease. It's crazy. It's beyond a
They
disease.
say it's a disease. It's not a disease.
It's not a
People
disease.
gotta be hanged. They gotta be executed. This is not a
Absolutely.
disease. This is pure evil. If anybody was ever wondering what evil actually means, what
You know what happens to Aurora, to
Hmm.
me, because I've been doing this, exposing the children for 10 years. They start to question your spirituality. And
Hmm.
this is what I was told so many times. Don't you know, Rafi? I'm going to tell you like they tell me. Don't you know, Rafi, that we come with a contract, and those children signed a contract to be on this planet, to go through this, to learn their lesson. And I want to choke them.
You know.
I
Yeah,
said,
me
well,
too. Me too. Like literally, like come here, let me choke you.
let me, that's what I say. Okay, so my lesson is to kill you and choke you
Yeah.
for being so stupid.
Yeah.
So
That
ignorant,
is the hardest thing for me because,
arrogant. Oh my God, it's so many things.
like how you are going to make somebody question their spirituality when you are okay with someone suffering,
Exactly.
to save your own warped spiritual mind.
Hmm. To stay
Everyone that comes
ignorant.
to this planet comes to thrive. And I used to be one of those people in a way until, like, you met the Galactic. I have a group that talks to me that call the Green Mothers, and
Hmm.
they come through your body. And I have lots of pictures of things that are going on. And this is what they taught me. You are a sovereign being.
Hmm.
The world and the universe needs you. You are like the stars. Every star is a part of the entire world. the entire cosmos. Each star represents something, and each star and each planet is important. And the same goes for souls. So you are a star. One of those stars is inside of you. So you are important, and you're supposed to be happy, be joyful, and love. And I said, but I am. And they'll say, no, because you're not. Because that your neighbor is not. It's all one thing.
Exactly.
So you cannot claim to be happy, peaceful when no one else is.
Wow.
You have to at least acknowledge that. Continue being happy and doing what you do, but you cannot be like a horse with blinders.
Exactly.
If you believe in the collective, in the cosmic collective, you have to understand that it is a switchboard. Everything is one thing. So you cannot compartmentalize. And you cannot say, oh, I came to learn, to be humble, but I am not going to care what's happening to someone else.
Right.
Then
Because
you're
they've
not humbled
chosen
enough.
that.
You're not humbled enough because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone to
Exactly.
see
Thank
what's
you.
happening to someone else.
How
The other thing
cool
that
that.
really drives me crazy, Aurora, is the hertz.
Mm.
Are you listening? And you have to listen to 700, 9,000 hertz. And this is the frequency of this dimension. And I tell them the earth is only 8 hertz. If you want to attune to the earth, go to nature.
Mm.
Because there's also vibrational programming. There's also all these other things that they put in place to keep us in that zone.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't
all
understand.
this Wi-Fi, our phones, Bluetooth, GPS, all these things. And the more metropolis you are, the more dense the city is, and the more dense the population is, the worse it's gonna be. And it really that's really the answer to everything. If people would go into nature and start looking to find themselves instead of looking for this
Right.
outside validation and outside something and outside that, and you gonna tell me who I was in the last life, and can you tell me if this is my twin flame? People, are you all going mad? It's like this stuff is like so non-essential. There's so many other things going on that we need to take care of, and right now we need to. And right now, look what's happening. The whole planet, everything on this planet is forcing us to leave the cities, to find a piece of land, to become self-sufficient, to grow your own food.
Right.
Soon there won't be any other choice. And it's again, it's again, if somebody would ask me what should I do, I said do just that. And when you figured out how to grow a garden, then maybe you can make a video course and show other people.
I'm
And you
doing one
don't
next
need
year, by the way.
equipment
Yep, I'm doing one
and
next
to
year.
be whatever. You just, if you know how to grow a tomato, there is somebody out there who wants to know how to grow a tomato. Take your freaking
Exactly.
phone and film it and explain to us how it works. We don't need you to go full on Paramount Pictures. We just want to know how to grow the tomato.
Right.
How do I find land? These are the things that we need to focus on. But
It's going to come to that. It's coming to that.
it is. We have no other choice. As you can see, everything, the way it's evolving, is forcing us. It's not even some time from now, it won't even be free choice anymore. We are being forced into that direction. We are being forced back to the roots of our being. And I think I have to take care of this cat for 1 second.
Oh, go ahead, guys. Do what you got to
Sorry.
do. That's fine.
I'll be back in 1 second. I'm
Okay, I
really
love
sorry.
talking to her. She's amazing. No, Aurora, I wanted to say,
This has been wonderful.
oh, I love you. Thank you. But I wanted to say to you, and of course, Aurora, that we're working on right now, I'm working on with a co-partner of mine. We're working on a video site that will actually be able to see the videos that they're blocking on Amazon and they're blocking on Facebook and YouTube for child sex trafficking. And the reason why this is important is because, number one, they don't own the server. Number one, they don't own the company. And number one, they can't tell us what to do. So our goal is, that I'll put it this way. The person that contacted me was John Paul Rice. He's the one at the Game of Thrones and other things. He knows about the child sex trafficking in Hollywood. He knows that. He goes all over the world. We know that. The point is they banned his videos on these
Wow.
and Netflix, Amazon, and all these other ones. But he will be allowed to be on our format, which is huge for us because this is going to bring so many people, Aurora, to that format that never seen the video as a documentary and never seen it because awareness or whatever. But the point is, we will have a format to put all our documentaries on and never have to worry about anybody taking them away because we own it. No corporation, we own it. And I consider me as the people, we the people. And that's kind of why I think that when I look back at my child, I look back at what's going on today, and me and my wife are only children and we've gone through this, but we are the people that we've been waiting for.
Yes.
Right? And like you said, we're being pushed a certain way, but we're pushing back and we're saying, listen, not with my human race.
No,
I'm fighting for this human race. I'm fighting for everybody that's treated me bad, fighting for, because I forgive and forget. But the point is, I live my life, a clean, healthy life. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs, right? But I do herbal, medicinal things. I do nutrients, supplements, and food and water. That's all I do. That's what I do. And that's what everybody should go down that path.
Yeah.
Like you said, eat raw vegetables, raw fruits, and make that come into their diet. Because right now, I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I had high blood pressure. And I had a mini stroke a couple of years ago. So I didn't even know if I was going to live through that. I'd never suffered anything. The point is, there's things out there that we're just finding out work for this, and you don't need the drug because the drug causes side effects. The side effects causes problems, and the problems, they go, they multiply. Well, if we can knock it off before the side effects start problems, you stop it by taking the drug. You don't take the drug. If you know the drug, like you said, if you know the drug causes these side effects, why would you take that drug? Why not look for an alternative? Don't go by what your doctor says.
it's part of that brainwashing thing.
But you can get out of it. That's what I'm saying. I was able to get out of it. You weren't able to get out of it. Aurora was able to get out of it. If we were able to get out of it, why can't others? We got to focus on helping other people, being smarter, being more intelligent, and making them realize that they are their own God. I am my own God. I can create what I want. I can make what I want, and I can make people happy and live a great life. I've done it for my daughters.
Some people are so scared, Gene, they're not going to listen.
I'm scared too, but I'm still doing it.
They gotta have those pills, and I've been trying with so many people forever.
You're right.
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance is really something.
Deal.
That's really something, and it's so deep in these people. The cognitive. That's when they tell you, Rafaela, what you were saying. When they tell you that those children, they have chosen. They have made this contract with their soul. They have chosen this. That's cognitive dissonance.
Right. Yeah.
That's programming. Yeah.
Dumb. This is dumb on a whole other level. I don't even have words for it. And it's not only dumb, but it's dangerous. It's mean. It's so many things.
It's so many terrible things.
Those children, they are being trapped by karma, and even karma is a trap. The lords of karma, they were brought and put in place by the reptilians. They're not something natural or normal. This is all just big traps. And once a soul is trapped in a certain circle, like most of humanity are actually on this planet, and those are the ones who
That's
are
the
not
matrix.
gonna wake up. Like I think like they're not gonna wake up ever, because the cognitive dissonance is like it's so it goes so deep, it's so strong in them, and those are the ones who have been trapped on this planet and into these lifetimes over and over and over and not coming out of it. And so, and also what you said, you know, like we are the ones we have been waiting for.
Right.
Yes, we are the chosen ones, but unlike what most people think, like somebody chose me, I am so, again goes the ego in
No,
every
I don't have no
there's
ego.
ego,
I
you know,
don't,
it's like, no, nobody chose you. You
egoless.
have chosen to do this. You and you alone
Right.
chose. You were so crazy that you thought you're going to go down to earth and you're going to do this. On some days I tell myself, you idiot, you should have stayed where you were.
I know. I know. I know.
You know, but we have chosen this for ourselves. We said, I'm gonna, because we have so much love, and we said, I'm gonna have to go there. I have to help these people. If I don't do it, if you don't do it, we're the ones who can do it.
Who's
And
going
Yeah,
so
to?
but
we came
that's what the
together.
Green Mothers told me,
Mm,
that I wasn't being the person that I wanted to be,
mm,
because I wasn't engaging in trying to understand what's happening. And then what happened was I became more of a world person. And then I started getting information about the world, things happening in China or something happened somewhere else. Some of these things just flood into my mind. I mean, I'm not even looking to know anything and it happens. And then I research, you know. So that was the main thing that they showed me, was how to connect to everybody else and what they're going through from the internal me.
mm.
And a lot of information they also download, superimpose, or whatever. So you have to know and you have to care. And you're not separate.
Exactly.
You have
And
to
those who
come
don't
back to
care,
that
you know, they're
understanding.
living their metropolis life. So that's what I was telling my friends when I was in Frankfurt. I said, how do you live without nature?
The illusion is different,
How do you do that?
and seeking attention.
Mm.
There's a lot of things that happens. I go into that group where they take a picture of their star seeds and they say, tell me what my
I
space.
know.
And
Yeah.
so I say, you're human. Are you the best human? Have you tried to be, you know, elegant in goodness? And I say things to jar them. I think out of all those people, I might have had a few who said, thank you. You know what? I am a good human. You know, Eh,
Lovely.
no one wants to even say that word.
I know it's escapism. It's just
What
another
what
form.
is
It's I call it, I don't call it new age. I call it the new cage. Because that's what
I
it
like it.
I like
Can
that.
I borrow that?
another new cage, and it's escapism. Oh, I'm not from this planet, I come from that place. You are escaping. Where are you going? You belong right here, right now. Open your eyes, open your ears. There's stuff going on. You need to know about these, because there is a chance that if you know about these things, if you confront yourself with these things, if you step out of your comfort zone and put that cognitive dissonance aside just for a moment, then maybe you will care. But
Mhm.
caring is a painful thing. Why? Because once you start caring, you start seeing the pain and the crimes and the evil.
Yeah.
And then they want to look away. And then they say, no, no, no. When you look at it, then you create more of it. And that's not spiritual. And this is something I'm really allergic to, because I could get so
That
aggressive and
drives me
angry over this.
nuts.
I know.
That drives me nuts.
You're
Me too.
passionate
I
about
could
it.
take like a sword and
Because
chop off
that's not how
everyone's
that's
heads.
not how energy works.
Yeah.
You know, I own my energy. We could be in the same room and share ideas and share energy,
Yep.
and but you still remain you and I still remain me.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. And just
you
because
come
I look
out,
at you, you're not gonna get more. It's what I feed into you, what I feed into your energy. And that comes from me, not from you. And it's
yeah,
the same with the world. If I look at the children, it does not, abuse does not get more. It depends on how I feed it.
that's
If
the
I
law of
sit there,
attraction that was sold to them on a material level,
yeah.
and now it's constantly used the same way. You know, so
Yeah.
it is it's such a thing to explain where these things come from, but
And
a
you
lot of it was taught to them on TV, like the Oprah show
Oh yeah,
and different shows
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, where all of these ideas, and now you can't get people away from these thoughts.
Yeah.
because it's in
It's
their
very
mind. That's why.
difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in their
it's
mind.
MK Ultra. They are brainwashed,
It's a
completely
brainwash.
brainwashed robots to believe this, you know. But it really, that people always say what light and enlightenment, the definition of light is information. That is what light is. Our universe was built under the construct of light, which means it was built under the construct of information. And God said, go out and create and bring all things back to me, because that's who we are as beings of this universe. The whole reason of living life, of experiencing life, of evolution is to gather information and gather more information and know how to utilize this information. Utilizing this information then is creation, and creation is the frequency of love. So we have light and we have love. Everything about enlightenment and awakening means gathering the right information, and over
It's
time
knowing.
knowing how to utilize the information to create and become a god, a creator god of your own world. And if everybody would be a creator god of their own world, we would be living on a beautiful planet. The planet is actually beautiful, but life on it is not so beautiful. But it really, this process, you know, of enlightenment, they don't understand it. And then they say, you don't look at darkness, you don't look at pain, you don't look at the pedophilia, you don't look at the satanic ritual abuse. Yes, you have to look at it, because me and you and everybody else not looking at
But
it
do you know where that comes from?
here.
Or pet abuse too. Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from? That comes from being told not to judge, though therefore there's
Yes,
no
yes.
awareness.
But your
So
ability to hold light is directly proportional to your courage to look at darkness.
darkness is where everything comes from. So therefore, it is
Yeah.
the whole bloom of creation.
Yeah, you don't have
The light
to.
came from the dark, but they see dark as good, light as good, and dark as bad, and that's not it either.
Yeah.
We're learning energy. But worse than that is that if you're not allowed to judge, nobody knows right from wrong. Don't tell me what to do.
Right.
We also have to have enough room, enough love to share the information and process it correctly.
Well, most of us know what's right and wrong, right? And what really gets me nervous is the gender fluidity. I'm like, I don't understand that. Either you're a woman or you're a man. That's the way I grew up. Now, if that's changed now, and I don't know, they said there's about 200 different sexes. I'm lost. I don't understand. Can you explain to me, Aurora?
It's outside the world of nature. It's programming and it's mental health. It's
It's
a lot of mental health issues. And it's okay. Here's what I say. You can change yourself to be anything you want, but that's only in your mind, because through nature, you will remain being what you were made.
right.
But
It
so
has
if
a
you
reason.
are a man, if you're a woman and you're transgender to be a man, that's okay. I'm not gonna complain.
Right,
That's
right,
what you do with who you are. But don't get upset if my energy still reads you as a female, because energy is not going to change
right.
even if you change the outside package,
I
because your energy comes from your created, matrix, who you were made naturally.
Yeah.
I am going to go along with it because I respect you, but my system is going to know the truth. So when a man now says, "Oh, I became a man and now I'm pregnant," I'm like, "No, you're a woman, and that's why you have a baby."
Mm, it gets crazy. It gets
Because
crazy.
with this not being judgmental, you are negating creation and nature, and that cannot be.
So true.
No, I am respectful and I will accept that you have transgender, but my system, my body the earth is going to see you for who you are originally. Is it wrong to change who you want to be? No.
I love
But
it.
don't try to undermine the nature.
Yes, and of course, well, when I was young, I'm 42 years old. So when I was, let's say, 16 or 17, I had one friend who was gay. But now I am 42, and that's like how many years ago? Like 17 years maybe ago, 15, 16, 17 years ago. And now
That's the statistic.
17 years later, I
Mhm.
know so many gay
Right.
people that I
Right.
cannot count them anymore.
Right.
Opposed to back then, I knew only one. Now, this, it is not natural. I'm not a homophobic person, and I
Right.
know
Not even.
that homosexuality is normal, and it's just the same love. It doesn't matter, if it's a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or a man and a woman. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't care. You love who you want to love. That's your thing. And I love who I want to love. Maybe you don't like that either. That's my thing too. But the thing is that this is the agenda. This is the agenda 21. This is what they want. They
It's
want
in
to
writing.
destroy. Yeah, they want to destroy the families.
Family.
They don't want us to have any more families. They don't want us to reproduce anymore. So what do? They come up with every devious way that they can think of to manipulate the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat. We have all these frequencies around
Mhm.
us. We have all this TV, and all of this is MK Ultra. Even those who are aware of the MK Ultra going on TV, if you still watch TV, you're still being MK Ultra,
Right. Right. Right.
whether you want it or not, because it is subliminal. And so all of these things, they bring us, they have all these stars and celebrities that have had gender changes without humanity knowing. Like, for example, they say Naomi Campbell is a man. And when you think about it, if you have real eyes, I always say real eyes, realize, realize, if you are true, if you have found truth, if you have that frequency within you, if you do
Mhm.
vibrate on that frequency, then you will look at certain people, and if they are a demon, you will see the demon, even though other people may say she's an angel or he's an angel. But if you know this, you will, all you see is demon. There is no more disguise. Once you are on that frequency, they cannot
Oh,
hide from
but then you're the crazy
it.
person. You're
Yeah.
disconnected from reality.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
You're
Yeah. And so
there's
that's how they
something
do it.
really wrong with you. That's what you
Also,
hear.
or like the most famous one is, of course, the ex-president, the traitor president with his man wife.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once how can you look at her and tell me no, she's not a man?
I'm
It's
hugging you.
and then they have all these celebrities and actors and all these people that other people have a crush on. Like, for example, they were saying, what's this boy's name? Justin Bieber. They said he's a girl. I saw all these things very interesting. They said he's a girl, and I was like, yeah, actually, now that you're saying this, let me look at his picture. Let me put everything
Pink,
aside. I know nothing
pink.
about this human. I just look at his picture. I do see a
Yeah.
girl, and he's married now. And I look at both of them next to each other, and I go like, oh God, he looks like a girl. She looks like a boy.
See, the thing
That's
is,
what they're doing with us. So subliminally, all those little girls that go
Bringing
to
in
this
both
guy's
together. Yeah.
concert and have a
this
crush on
is not
him.
new though. Go back and look at Barbara Bush.
Yes, but it's this pop industry, the pop culture has, and all these movies and series and Netflix, all of this has contributed tremendously to this agenda, because now these teenagers, these young people who've not found themselves yet, who've not been through puberty yet, who've not found themselves a girl, she's not a woman yet, the boy is not a man
Right.
yet,
Right.
and that is that age where they are the most they can be the most influenced and corrupted and manipulated energetically. And so you have this crush on this guy. You're a 14-year-old girl, and you have a crush on this guy, not knowing that he's a girl. So subliminally, you are in love with a girl, and that is what is causing this boom in homosexuality
Right.
because subliminally they are being MK Ultra'd. This on top of vaccines, right? I think, was it today or yesterday? I just
Well, I
read
can't agree
something
with you more.
very interesting by a chiropractor who said, I had 500 patients coming in the last 15 years, and they all had this vaccine, and then suddenly they all want to have, I have the teenage girls sitting in my practice telling me they want to have a, what is it, mastectomy, and they want to have hormone changing drugs, gender changing hormones, and they do want to do this. They want to change their genders. And
You
he
know,
said,
if you look
Doctors
at
are going to
through
say no.
time,
Yeah.
you are able to see the demographics of how this is happening,
yes,
but they're not giving us those
Right.
kinds of statistics
exactly.
because the medical community is compromised, the science community is
Yeah,
compromised, and therefore, how do we get to the truth?
yeah. So
And
it's,
you don't want to offend anyone.
and it's
You know, like I
everywhere.
believe in free will. So I would let you change your body all you want, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not going to change
Yeah.
your original blueprint. Why don't you learn that?
That's right.
It's all about deception. You know, and this didn't just happen. I mean, Barbara Bush is not female. I mean,
Many.
there's a lot of the wives of older presidents that you can now go back. When I started to see this with Legally Blonde, that beautiful young girl, what's her name? Reese Witherspoon.
Yep. Mhm.
Boy,
Yeah, I believe that too.
and then what's
Always
the
goes
other
to
one?
something tremendously
With the
real with
mole.
energy.
uh, all these models and all these people. After I started to pay attention, I went back and back and back and
Yeah, they
back.
also say the
And look,
Victoria's Secret models, they're all hybrids. And they make them in a way so they won't gain weight. And that there is so much deception going on this planet that if you start diving into this,
It's
you
crazy.
can
you
go
go
mad,
crazy.
you
You
know?
can't go back. You're right. You can't go back.
Here's the thing. That's why they think you're crazy because you've connected the dots. And it's like a spider web.
Yeah,
Because it's a spider web, you have to continue to dive down the rabbit hole.
yeah,
And people are not ready to do that.
yeah,
And they may
And
never be
when you
ready.
start talking this stuff, you're going to sound crazy because there's no way that their mind can follow you in what you're saying. That's why they have to do their own research. And that's why they have to, care enough to want to get to the bottom of it. But it's not something that a lot of people are going to do. For example, I've been teaching transformation for 30 years. I had a school of metaphysics for 20 years. I had to fold it because people at this junction will not look at themselves.
Oh.
So the biggest disconnect is people not being able to find their selves. And if you don't do that first, everything else is going to be floating, you can see something, but you cannot connect it to solidify the entire thing that's happening to us in this world.
that is so true. But let
You
me tell
the,
you,
the galactic
me,
the galactic have been the ones to help. If there wasn't any extraterrestrial uh, influence, we would not be where we are today to see this.
Yeah, you're
yes,
right. Yeah. There's a big
yes.
awakening. Go ahead, Aurora. What did you say?
The thing is that the way that the planet is evolving right now, what has started to happen in March 2020, all of the events since then, of course, the first lockdown played a major role
It
in
was
the
awesome.
awakening of humanity. Okay, I've been doing this work for 10 years now. And 10 years ago, I had my following, I had so many readers and everything, and I managed to help people really wake up, and they started questioning the narrative, and it did happen, and I did awaken many people also with my book. It really worked. It worked okay. But then throughout the years, and especially I think 2019 and 2018, I had gotten to a point where I was giving up. And I said, these people are never going to wake up. This planet's never going to change. And this clown show is going to continue forever.
Oh, boy.
And that was when the Galactic Federation, once again, they picked me up and took me on a ship, which they don't do anymore really often. You know, it's like they used to do that when I was a little child. But since I've been an adult, it happened maybe twice. That was the second time, or maybe three
It's
times.
very difficult for them to come to very congested areas because, like, I moved in 2012 expecting the change in this flip of the planet. I moved from Texas to Tennessee and I moved up on a mountain in the center of the Smoky Mountains. And
Mhm.
they were able to come there very often. Then when I moved to Texas, it's very flat, there's no mountain. It was very difficult for them to come. And sometimes they would ask me to go to higher elevation. And
Mm.
I would do that. They also asked me to go to Arizona and I went on top of a mesa and that was amazing. You know, when they cannot reach you, they're going to tell you. But
Mm.
now they found a way to portal through you.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's they've been doing for,
So
but on
now if it,
special
and
occasion.
they've been, I found out that they have been doing this with me for a very long time since I was born.
Mm.
And
Yeah, you'll know.
when I asked them, please show, my family members that I'm not crazy, they showed up at a friend's house in Florida and it got caught in their ring camera, the
Oh,
giant green orb.
lovely.
And me and her never talked about this. She had read some things on my page. And so when they went to her house, it was to bring me to Florida. And immediately she sent me a message saying, Rafi, there's something caught on my ring camera, my doorbell camera, and it looks like that orb and that thing that you're always talking to. And I'm like, you're shitting me. And Lord and behold, there's 10 minutes of this huge orb in front of her house.
Lovely.
You can see the three. I'm going to send you that video.
Yes,
Make sure
I'd
please.
that
like to see
you
it too.
send me
I just wanted to see it.
I want you guys to see it. I haven't posted that one because it's not my video, but she's allowed me to share it with
Right,
friends
right.
as long as you don't like use her name and because her information
I
is
want
on the video.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they showed up, Jean, and they're hovering in front of her house for
Gorgeous.
10 minutes. They're so beautiful. It is an amazing video. And so
Lovely.
I ended up going to Florida and meeting with her and seeing this for myself. I couldn't believe it because they normally now they come, my body feels weird and I can take pictures and know when they're influxing in and out.
Yeah.
Sometimes my eyes will go totally black, like I have no socket and no eyes. And sometimes the light comes in a certain way, and then I know to go someplace, meditate, and relax. And so that's how I communicate. But
Mm.
if we didn't have like Aurora, myself, and whoever else is being visited and being talked to, we would not have the wisdom or the courage or the know-how to speak and do what we're doing.
I agree with
Mm.
that.
So
Exactly.
everything Aurora said, I believe it because I've experienced it, and other people that I talk to have experienced it. We bring out our notes
Mm.
and we read what each of us has been through, and
Yeah,
when we come
always apply.
together, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read other people's channels. You know, I have this newsletter, and I do not only send my own channels to the people who
Hmm?
subscribe to my newsletter, but any good channel that I find. Of course, there are a lot where you think like, that
Yeah,
doesn't.
and
I
there's
know
people.
people like this Michael Pleiadian guy. You know, it's like for
Oh,
10 years he keeps writing the same post every week. He does all in caps. You can't even read it for me. It's too much. It's like, oh, I can't focus. It's too
Oh, I'm
big.
sorry.
Why do you write like
the
this? And
Pleiadians
it's the
are
same.
not good anyway.
Yeah.
So when they say Pleiadians to me, I'm like, bye.
Oh boy.
But there are good channels, and then you read them and you say, look, this is the exact same information they gave me too. And
Yeah,
since the information is the same, I'm going to share it. And then I've also had channels where there was no author underneath it. We didn't know who wrote this, and we shared it. And then people say, how can we trust the source if we don't know the author? Well, because the Galactic Federation is in contact with me and they tell me everything.
But
And when
you know right from wrong.
this is what they're
You
telling
know right from wrong.
exactly. So it doesn't matter who wrote it.
Mhm.
And we know that this is the information. There's not a gazillion different informations. There's just one plan going on. But you know, what I wanted to say is that this really this COVID, we all know it's a scam, right?
I
But
do.
it's
I do
actually,
know it is. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's actually the best thing that could have ever happened to this planet. And it's also because the Galactic Federation very quickly, they knew what was coming, and they took certain key players and certain key moments and events, and they turned it around, and literally they were beating the enemy with their own weapons. So they also turned things around a lot. Like they took, for example, this virus and they put it into the supply of the adrenochrome, so that those who were heavy
Yep.
adrenochrome
The
users
White
were
Rabbit. The White
the
Rabbit.
first ones
Mhm.
to be positive. Like, and then my brother, and I was telling my brother all the time all these things, and it's not that he doesn't believe, he's not like me, he's a little different, he's not as awakened and anything spiritual like me, but he's a human with an immense integrity and loyalty and authenticity, and these are values, you know. So he does have an understanding. And then even he would call me and say, listen, how can it be that the prince in his castle gets coronavirus, me and you seem fine? And I say, yeah, that's what
Oh,
I'm trying.
we know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because their adrenochrome supply has been tainted with the virus, and that's what the Galactic Federation did. So they were beating the enemy with their own weapons, right? But besides that they did lock down the whole planet was one of the biggest gifts that humanity could ever receive.
I
And
say that
we're
every
not
day.
seeing it. Yeah,
2020.
how else would you get people to question the narrative? Because that's what awakening is. Moving
Yes.
from the third dimensional reality into the fourth dimensional reality happens by questioning the narrative. And one day you wake up and you ask yourself, what's going on? Is that for
Mhm.
real? Is this guy telling the truth? Are these people saying the truth? Something is fishy. Something smells fishy in Denmark, right? So once you ask yourself this question and you think that maybe the news is telling you lies, that's where you start awakening. And that's where you move from 3D into 4D. And then you start listening to this person, listening to that person, doing some research, even if it's just a little bit, and you still might have an immense amount of cognitive dissonance, but you got to start somewhere, right? So what I witnessed in March 2020 is something I've not witnessed on this planet in my 42 years that I've been here.
Ooh, I'm
And
excited. Go ahead. I want to hear the positive.
He's so excited.
since I've been a little child, but left and right, people are waking up. So in the very first days, I would go, for example, to the supermarket, and I don't know, I talk a lot when I see people. I never shut up, you know, I'm always like, and I'm always the same. So the same things that I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to talk to a stranger. And I
Mhm.
know they're going to think I'm crazy, and I don't care.
Right. It's
Like,
like,
I
Yeah.
know that I have planted a seed. First of all, I cannot pretend to be what I'm not. It's just not who I am. I am this being, and I'm like this with everybody. Whether you understand, you don't understand, you like, you don't like, it's not my cup of tea. That's your
right.
problem. You
Right.
have to deal with that yourself. You like or you don't like, I don't care. But, you know, so I go into the supermarket and I say the same things that I would say to you. And I would see people that would give me that flu-right stare. They would go like, what the hell is she talking about? And you know, it's like literally I could see in their faces like they have no idea what I just said. They don't even understand. I could have spoken Chinese. Would have had the same
Yep.
effect, right? They would have looked at me the same way.
Right.
And then 1 month later, I go to this same supermarket. I make another remark to the same person who gave me that stare, and now suddenly I get an answer, and the answer is yes, yes.
You were right. You were right.
Now
Yes.
I'm the one. And now I'm the one who goes like, oh my God, what happened? That was
You
unexpected.
awaken one soul. That's wonderful. Right.
Yeah,
That's why
but
you gotta keep doing it.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
And then I talk to my landlord, I talk to my neighbor, and I talk to other neighbors from the other two streets, up the street, 2 blocks further. It's like, you talk to all these random people, and suddenly they are somehow understanding what you're talking about, or even if they're not yet really understanding, but you can see that something
Curiosity they
in
have,
their
right? Yeah.
being clicked, and something has changed. Their energy, their frequency has changed. They have shifted. They are not as brainwashed sheeps that they were 3 months ago.
Oh, it's
They
like a
are,
snap. You
yeah,
snap them
yeah,
into, oh my God, what did she say?
Real
I'm going to
reality.
look that up.
Yep.
And they
yeah,
do. That's why you can't stop. You got to continue to try to get people to come into that awareness.
yes, but
That's that's
it
actually our job.
It
That's what
is.
we should be
It is.
doing.
We have to. We have to. We
We
don't have
have
to. They ask us what are our weapons, so to speak. Well, your weapon is the truth. You
Yeah.
don't have anything else. It's
Action and
only
mouth. Yep.
the
Yep.
truth.
mhm,
Exactly. You have to be this. That's why I say start with yourself and then take it to the world. Because when you are this, you are operating from a place of authenticity. And
absolutely.
planet
Amen.
needs. So you take your authenticity and you infect people. It's like a virus, it's contagious. You start infecting people, and what you do is you might not make them wake up or shift or ascend or whatever, but you are planting a seed.
And that seed's growing too.
And there is nothing you can do. You throw a seed into Mother Earth, and Earth is gonna take care of it, and that's how this works. And it's gonna take care on its own, because that person, if they were not ready for that seed, they were not meeting you, they were not touching your energy. And they don't have to meet you in person. It can be on social media, it can be they watch you on YouTube, they see you on Facebook, they read a post of you on Instagram that somebody else shared from somebody else who shared you, maybe. It doesn't matter, but you plant a seed, and now humanity is getting ready to take in those seeds, because they are being locked down. They've been sitting for months in their homes, and in many places
Mhm.
in the world, they are still there. They are
This is
still in
what's
their
waking them
house.
up.
Right.
No
They
more
have the
distractions.
time.
Yep.
There are no concerts. There's no cinema. There are no big sporting events.
What
All
a
these
blessing.
things,
Do you
yeah,
see?
yeah.
2020 is a blessing.
It is. And 2020, they call it perfect vision, right? And they say
Perfect vision.
this is the year when the truth is coming out. And
Mhm.
hell, the truth is coming out. Ghislaine Maxwell is arrested. She's giving us all the names of all these pedophiles. So we are at the point where we are introducing the whole picture of what this pet, because people on this planet know about pedophilia. They know that children are in danger. You have to take care of your children. There are so many crazy people. They're going to touch and molest and rape your children. If you don't take care of them, they're going to steal them and kidnap them. Okay, people know this, but how deeply anchored is it really at the end of the day in humanity's consciousness? Not really. It's something that happens to other people. It's always the other people. And then maybe someday you'll hear in the news something like with the story of Madeline that was kidnapped and abducted in where was it, Portugal, from her parents. And you hear a
Yes.
story like that, and everybody is sad, and everybody goes like, whoa, but it happens in another country to other people. It's
It's a
not
mental
here.
block.
Not and they don't know that it's not only it's here, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And we have these deep underground tunnels. So these are things, people say disclosure. When is disclosure happening? And I say disclosure, the way that you imagine, is not going to
Not
happen.
gonna happen. We've
Well,
been disclosing all along.
because humanity is not ready for it. They have such a crazy cognitive dissonance. On the package, it says this mask does not protect you from a virus everywhere in the world.
No,
I,
understand.
I speak
It's
five
on the
languages.
mask.
Okay, in 5 different languages, I have bought and purchased packages myself, my friends, and I've read what's written. It's in every country, in every language, exactly the same thing. In French, in Spanish, in German, in English, in Italian. Those were those that I read, and it was always the same thing. It does not protect you from a virus, but still, all of humanity everywhere in the world, they're walking around with this thing on their mouth and their nose as if their life depends on it. Dude, I don't know what to say. Can you read? Do you understand when you read this? It says
But the
it's
doctors are saying it. And
Let's
they still,
listen.
there's the fight between the good doctors and the bad doctors.
Yeah.
And that's the confusion,
So when
you
they
know?
are brainwashed to this level, then we cannot come out and say, hey guys, we got news for you, but this planet is ruled by a satanic elite. It doesn't matter whether you believe in Satan or not, they do. What counts is they do. They totally believe in this guy and they worship him. They worship him. They bring him, and what do you do when you worship Satan? You sacrifice. And the other information we got for you today is, yeah, by the way, they don't sacrifice goats and sheep and chicken. They sacrifice humans, virgins,
Children.
girls, boys, children, babies,
Crazy. Just crazy.
you know. And they even take pregnant women and they put her on an altar, and they take the baby out and right there sacrifice the baby. They do things like this, and then, you know, we take it one step further. We got more information for you today. They also then drink the blood, and then they eat humans. They're also, by the way, they're cannibals, and then they're all pedophiles, and they like torturing and so on, and the adrenochrome. We cannot tell this.
And then you have to say, and that's because they're no longer true humans. They
Oh,
have been hosted by the Brill and they're draconians.
What
And
the
then they're like,
and
no, you're
happen
watching
if
too
that
much
if we do
TV.
that.
And you know how many movies have given this scenario
all the
since the
time.
50s?
The
Of
variety.
course, because that's the law of karma and the free will. They're not allowed to violate our free will. So they have to put this in the movies and they have to tell us exactly. And that's what they do. There's so many, the X
Mhm.
Files, and there are so many movies, the Avatar,
They
Matrix,
all
with
tell you.
100% truth. But
Mhm.
we go there, we watch the movie, and we say, wow, this was cool entertainment.
This
And
is
we
good.
think
Ha,
none
ha,
of it
ha.
is true.
We didn't see the.
So I have given you the information,
Mhm.
I've told you the truth, but you've decided for yourself that it's just a show, so I'm free of karma. And if I do this with you now, I'm not going to be breaking any galactic law, and I'm not violating your free will, and I'm off the hook. You're the idiot. So, right?
You know
So,
what? When I used to talk to a lot of Christians that did not want to listen to any of this, I would tell them anyway, and then I would say, Ezekiel 33. I told you, I gave you God's message. I sounded the trumpet. I am no longer responsible for you, for me knowing something that you don't know. So I'm going to spread that seed. And if you listen, then you have saved yourself. If you didn't listen, I am no longer in control and I am no longer liable because you made that decision. The whole chapter of Ezekiel 33 is so beautiful. And whenever I go from one page to the other spreading news and they get really ugly, I'll copy Ezekiel 33 and I'll say, here, enjoy. And I leave. Because, you know, if you're going to wake up some people, you have to give them the food that they need so that they can go into that research. Because
Right.
the point is from the Galactic Federation that our job is to continue to awaken as many people as possible. And we
exactly.
have, they gave me from 2012 to 2023.
Uh-huh.
So until 2023, I will continue to post the things that I post and say the things that I say to continue to do my job as opposed, as they say, a light worker.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's another thing. Don't even get
You
started.
know, as a light worker,
So
that's,
crazy.
and so I don't post anything else but things that will make people go, and that's Aurora, what you're expressing. And I think that we should continue to do that and try to get more people to do that as well.
Yes, totally. Totally. Um, and you know, they say, when is disclosure happening? This is disclosure.
It
It's
is.
rip mode. It's
It's
coming
been happening.
bit because these people have cognitive dissonance. And if we didn't know what that means, I think this year we all gathered a lot of unnecessary experiences with how
Mhm.
bad this cognitive dissonance can actually be, right? But and people are also depressed in this world.
Yeah, a lot of
Depression is a major thing in this planet. People are depressed, they're frustrated. And now people who are already frustrated, who are already depressed, who have a major cognitive dissonance, which means through the ages they walk through this world like this, and now suddenly we're going to come out and tell them, everybody, they're all pedophiles, they're all satanic ritual abusers and rapers
Animals.
and cannibalists, and they drink children blood, adrenochrome, what's this? And then, by the way, they're not even human. They're reptilian, and they look so bad that if you see them, you might freeze and die instantaneously because they're so ugly. But we can't do this. People are going to kill themselves. People are going to freak out. There's going to be a group of
Right,
people
right.
on this planet everywhere. They're going to
They live. They
instantaneously
live.
commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live.
They're already on the edge, and they need just that one little more kick, because we know truth, so we can keep ourselves above the water. I call it above the water because at the end of the day, the things that we know, the experiences that we have, the connections to spirit that we have, the work that we did on ourselves, it elevated our frequency to a high enough place that we do not go desperate. We also, all of us have days where we're not so good and where we're also sad, but
We have our ups and downs.
yeah, but still, with the things that we know and the abilities that we have and the frequency that we're on,
Yeah.
we can keep ourselves above the water. But then there are people in this world, they don't know these things. And honestly, if I imagine to be a human in this world, not knowing what I know, where is hope? I don't see it. I wouldn't be able to see it. There is no hope. And as a human being, in any scenario, in any situation that you are in, if you don't have hope, you have nothing. Then there is nothing worth living for. Love, people don't have. Money, people don't have.
Yeah.
Freedom, people had, and now this is also being taken away.
Right.
Peace, we had, it's being taken away from us. Then what is left? If we have no love, we have no money, we have no freedom, we have no peace, then where is hope? So then I might be, if I would be one of those, then I also might be one of those that's this close to commit suicide. And now imagine we come out and we give him full disclosure. Dude, this full disclosure is nothing to be proud of. This is something so bad, so sinister.
Sounds like you got no chance. Yeah.
I don't know what these so-called light workers are saying. When is full disclosure coming? I had somebody wanted to do an interview with me. He asked me so many times, what did the Galactic Federation tell you about full disclosure? And then he said to me, they said it's 2021. And then I stopped chatting with that person. I was like, no.
Disclosure has been going on.
Exactly.
And if you look at UFOs, what more disclosure do you want than the pyramids, and all these sites that nobody can create, that we don't have the technology to build these things? So who built them?
Or
So now
how it was built.
Yeah, we have to say the scientists don't know. They're making up stuff as they go, and they're lying.
Exactly.
So disclosure, if you're paying attention, happens every single time your own mind questions something.
Yeah, and the fact that somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, who is, by the way, just a very little figure in this whole thing, himself was being abused by lots of other people who were thinking that one day, if there's somebody who has to take a fall, it's going to be this guy, and he's going to be just big enough and just rich enough for people to buy this whole thing, that he's the bad guy. But then, of course, so many things happened which they had not calculated in. And anyway,
That's
the guy
beautiful.
and now his girlfriend Elaine, she is being trialed. Hillary is being trialed. Obama is going to be the next one. And all these little bits and pieces, and that there is a woman called Elaine Maxwell that is in court right now. Only the fact that there was something like this happening, and she's there and she has this information. They could have come out with this information 2 months ago, but they're not. They're saying, now we're releasing the files, now we're doing this, because this is full disclosure already in the making. It's just in drip mode. It's coming bit by bit by bit, preparing humanity first, that there is something sinister you didn't know about, and it's about to hit the fan.
Well, see, they hear about the children being trafficked, but
Mm.
they still negate Pizzagate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, it's like a scissor. It cuts a little and then it let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you say that there is no such thing as Pizzagate and it has been debunked when now we know child trafficking is huge?
Mm.
And there's something called adrenochrome.
Mm.
This is how bad it is.
Yeah.
You get a little bit and then it bounces right out. And they go back to saying fake news, conspiracy theories, those things
Yeah,
are
they-
not real.
yeah.
And they continue to loop that same narrative over and over and over. Jean, you know how long I've been doing this? I tell you, people, they take a little bit and they'll think about it, but they do not want to connect the dots, just like
They're
Aurora is
afraid,
saying.
like you said, they're afraid.
That's disclosure. Aurora is correct. We already know.
Yeah, but
We
if we
already
do
know.
go into a second lockdown, then there's so many people, even of my own friends, who are woke, who are spiritual, whatever, and they also say, "Oh no, they're putting us in lockdown." I say, "No, no, no. Do not get angry. It's bad for me, it's bad for you, but it's good for them because
And
they
feed
are
off
getting
the anger. They
killed
feed off
off
the
their
anger.
distractions."
Yeah, we have to. 2020 to me is a blessing. I've
Yes,
prayed for this forever. If you
totally.
know what's going on, you are happy.
Yes.
I am excited. This is the most amazing time. I'm blessed that I am alive to witness and to be a part of it. This is the feeling that I want people to grasp.
You're right.
And then they go into the Trump. And I'm like, stop putting all your thoughts into the personality. Go into the actions. Look at the energy. Go and see what else is behind this person. Because we're so used to just taking people at face value because they look good, because they're actors. It's also externally frivolous.
100%.
They don't really look at anything at somebody's background. I start, tricking people. I did a thing agreeing with the lady that just died. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking out. Ruth, uh,
Oh, Bader Ginsburg.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ginsburg. And I wrote, oh, she was wonderful, and she did this and she did that. And one person said, Rafi, how can you say that? Me knowing who you are, how can you trust? How can you say this about this person? And then she brought in and posted all of the things, all of the negative things this lady has done where pedophilia is concerned and all these different things. And I'm like, I have to come up with different tactics to see who's out there, who's paying attention,
Mm,
Great.
you know?
Yeah, I
Because
like that.
they have to dig things up for themselves, and they're so happy to prove you wrong that
Sweet.
that you have to be creative.
wow.
Mm.
Seriously,
I know.
you have to try different things.
They always dig up the bad part of the past. But Aurora, I wanted to say, if you have to go, I understand because I've
I
gotten
have a few
more
more
than two
minutes.
hours
I have
now.
like
So,
20 more minutes and then I
oh
have to.
wow, wonderful! Thank you so much for. I mean, I hope you're enjoying this because I want you to understand that, Rafi and I mean, this is definitely unplanned for me and her. But I love her. I welcome her. I'm glad she's here because this, things that sometimes are unplanned work out the better for everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for being here because I know you've got so much going on. You're doing your classes and you're doing that. And I want you to also make sure that, you tell people where to find your classes, how to sign up, what's your page and what's your website and your links and stuff like that. Before you leave, please do that. But I want you to feel warm and welcomed here. Not like what's going on with the Galactic Federation. And I don't care about that. This is about humanity. This is about,
Yes.
You and I connecting on a level of loving and caring people and trying to change what we can for each other and everybody else. right? That's what I see. I don't see, you know, group after group after group looking
Yeah.
at it, oh, well,
You,
this is better, this is better, this is worse, this is action. I don't see that. I see love of three people trying to change and help each other, to help each other's world, to help all of us. So
yes.
that's what
Yes,
I get from
because
it.
whether we like it or not, but it's like a boat,
Right.
and we're all,
On the boat.
all of humanity, the
Right.
whole planet, every single human being on this planet, everybody who is in a human body, who has a soul, we're all in the same boat. And
Oh,
if this boat
absolutely.
is going down, we're all going down. And that's what most are not understanding. That and this boat has hit rock bottom. It is actually about to go down. Now it's only the question, are we going to lift ourselves out of the misery, or are we really going to drown with the boat? Is this going to be the Titanic?
Well, things have to get bad for everybody to really snap out. And
Mm,
so I would say buckle down, because this is going to be like the roller coaster that scares us, but we got on it and we paid to ride it and enjoy it. So this is how that's going to be. This is going to be that roller coaster ride that you
yeah,
see,
it's the ride
you
of
know,
our
the
lives.
amusement park. So this is the amusement park. We're gonna roll it and we're gonna enjoy it. And sometimes we're gonna, and sometimes we're gonna be like, you know, and it's a blessing.
When I
It
see
is.
somebody get arrested that's a pedophile, I jump for joy.
Me
I
Yeah,
mean,
too.
when I see a politician that's arrested, or a local politician, or something that's going on, I jump for joy. Or
me
if
too.
anybody like that, I say, oh my God, thank you, God.
Thank you.
Or
Finally,
those who die. Sorry, Jesus. But when this woman died, what's her name? Ginsburg.
yeah, Ginsburg,
I
yes.
was like, yes.
Well, I tell people, they
People
when
that,
I say what you're saying, Aurora, they tell me, well, you're very hateful, and you're
Yeah, I
not
get that too.
for peace, and we're not into you're doing the same, killing people. And I say no, because these are not human. You cannot rehabilitate after what has happened to
Right.
these people,
yeah,
and that's the missing piece for them, that
exactly.
they refuse to
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's something on this planet that has been here before us, and that's
Oh, we lost our microphone.
Oh, what happened there?
Let me see.
only
Yeah.
the fact that we have reptilians.
Yes.
That's what creates duality on our planet, and that's where the whole thing of something bigger than God. And I always say, how can you believe in the omni uh, omnipresence of God and believe that He has this little tiny horrible thing ruining His creation? You have to pick a side. If you're in the side of good, then you know what is wrong, and you have to judge what is wrong, and you have to work against what is wrong, and this evil has to be stamped out, and it has to be exterminated. It cannot be rehabilitated, and putting these people in jail will not
No.
solve anything.
You're right.
Exactly, exactly. No, because first of all, as I said, they're not a human. They're evil. They're reptilians, and they are evil. They are the manifestation of the meaning of evil, and they have no compassion. They have
They're
no
not human.
forgiveness. They have no mercy. They don't even understand what that means, and they look down to us that we do have these abilities, and they think we are weak, and we're just cattle, and we're dumb,
Well,
and we're
I
weak and
don't
dumb that we do have compassion in these
I
things.
don't think they think that we are weak. I think we think that we are weak, and we are so easily destroyed. But because they don't come up and handle us, then there's a TV show called Raka. Am I
You're
right?
actually right. They don't think we're weak. Actually, they are terrified by
They're
us and our
terrified of
ability
us. Correct.
to ascend. But our emotions, not our emotions, but the things that, the emotions that come from love, which is like compassion and these things, those things they see as our weakness. And that's where they have managed to find their portal to manipulate us. And suck our
They,
energy.
they feed off of anguish, they feed off of anger, they feed off of all the negativity. This is why we give it that devil name.
Mhm.
And so they will whisper to us and do things to us and come into us to control. They're not able to take all of us, so they take people in power. So they are absolutely afraid of us. I want people to realize that these are not things that we should be afraid of. And if we say Satan and the devil, we're more scared because we think it's a spirit. This is not that. This is a flesh and bone
Yeah,
entity that is just like us, living underground, that we can do something about. But they
exactly.
have technology, they get in our heads, and they make us do things we don't want to do. And until we stop having split intent with what is really good, they always have the upper hand.
Yes. And
People
you know,
get taken because of greed. If you look at the seven deadly sins, they go for those people who are doing those things. The
Mhm.
politicians are easily bribed. They're easily taken over because what do they want?
Money,
Absolute power.
power,
yeah,
and money. Yep.
control.
Greed.
So
Hmm.
I don't want people to think this is something so scary. It's a creature that needs to be found, brought up, and taken care of.
Yeah, so true.
Otherwise, we're never going to have a utopia.
Yeah.
As long as they can do this with us, we'll never see peace.
Well, what makes us dream more powerful than other people? We're just regular people. Nothing really. It's just maybe we
We
open
don't have
our eyes a little
fear.
bit more.
Look how
It's our
Aurora talks,
frequency.
and you talk without fear.
Yeah.
You have awakened to know these things without freaking out,
And
without being
that is
fear.
our task, you know. That's also what the
That's the
Galactic
task.
Federation always tells me, that this is what you have to convey to people. If you want to teach and heal and help, this you have to somehow get them to understand that you must lose the fear of even death itself.
Yep. You
Because
cannot
when you
fear.
lose the fear of even death, which is the highest thing that you can fear, what can you
Right,
Mhm.
fear more than losing your life, right?
right,
But
right.
once you lose that fear, you're invincible. You are the invincible race. And the thing is that, of course, the reptilians are very, very terrified by us, especially now as things have been proceeding, because their technology, you just mentioned it, of frequency control and all of that, it's of course, it's frequency control, and they have certain machines and technology with which they are keeping us enslaved. And it's just a mind thing. It's
Right,
just frequency control. It's
right,
the,
right.
the brainwash, the MK Ultra and everything. But all of those are fourth dimensional. It's a fourth dimensional technology, as they are themselves fourth dimensional beings. Now, we humans, we do have that divine spark. We have that Kundalini energy that, if we awaken that, rises up, and it will lead to Christ consciousness, which will open the last chakras and the crown chakra. And once that happens, you are ascended into the fifth dimension. We do have that divine spark of Christ consciousness within us. They don't have that. They do not have the ability to ascend into the fifth dimension. So now imagine a whole planet with billions of people. And by the way, I think we're only half or even less than half of what they say. The rest is like soulless meat packs of things that they
Well, we
create.
have DNA that they can tap a little bit into, but
Mhm.
once we tap into our own DNA, they cannot touch us.
Exactly.
I
Once the
have seen
with
them.
the rising of the Kundalini, what happens is you recalibrate your chakras, which is also my book, Jean. You read that in my book,
Yes.
and because the chakras, we have 12 chakras, and we have 12 helixes of DNA, and they correlate with each other. So once you start opening the chakras, you are also awakening your DNA to start recalibrating, and those scattered helixes to form proper helixes again, and be activated again. From two active helixes, we can have 12. That is full Christ consciousness once the 12th is unlocked. That's what they're terrified of. And once this process starts, there's almost nothing that can stop this process anymore. So imagine there's millions and billions of human people on this planet that
Right.
start ascending. So if we go into 4D, we're already equal. And that's why we are not afraid, because we're on the same level like them. They're fourth dimensional beings. We're fourth dimensional beings. And we're this close to do this final little bit of fine tuning that we get into 5D. We already do get into 5D on those days when we feel really, really good. That's 5D energy, you know? So we go in, we come out, we tap in and out of 5D. When I go into nature, I lay underneath a tree. That's it. That's 5D for me. The feeling that I have, the thoughts that I have, the energy where I go to, that's 5D. And I do stay there until something again happens, which is pretty normal. That's really normal. There are so many, they judge themselves for it, but it's a process and it's beautiful. And every second of it, and every bit of it. But that's what they really are so terrified of, because if all of these people, if they ascend into 4D and start tapping in and out of 5D, that means they're already higher in frequency than them. And what happens then is that their frequency control and their machines, their technology is not going to work on us anymore. And the way that they disguise themselves in human form is not going to work. You're going to look at them, you're going to see reptilian. And if you are so high in frequency, you're going to look at them, you're going to see reptilian, and you are not going to be afraid at all.
Yeah.
And that's all they thrive on.
The
For
key
them,
to everything
this
is
far
not having
tonight.
fear and building yourself up in your goodness, knowing what is right from wrong, not wishing anybody any kind of ill that you don't want for yourself. This is like the primal understanding of all traditions and all religions on the planet, and we do not follow that. But we are being awakened. The galactic people are helping. The draconians are losing their footing. And the minute you lose the fear, we're in. I've known people that have triggered what you explained with the Kundalini and all that in one session of DNT. And I know this is a whole different, and we probably don't have time to talk about all of that.
We have to do a whole other session only for
We
that.
have to do it again, because there are ways to speed it up. And that's where I'm interested, and I'm moving towards getting people to move, because we don't have that much time. Right now, we have to work really hard on tapping on humanity and explaining to people that there's nothing better than being human, and there's nothing more important than saving our planet and the children, and looking to see what is it in these people that makes them do the things that they do, and why would we agree with that when we know these things are wrong. And breaking, like you said, cognitive dissonance is not easy.
No.
But I think the three of us are committed, and we have run our lives.
Yes.
And we're coming to this triangle with those very same ideals. And like Jean, thank you so much, because this has been a very magical morning for me.
Me too.
I was just waking up. I'm like, I put makeup on my hair. Okay, I'll do it. I do it. I'm so excited. And you've connected me to another beautiful soul. Aurora, you are magnificent.
Awesome.
And everything that you've said resonates with everything I've done in my life. So I am in awe of everything. And I want to read your book, and I want to talk about you on my page. So, Jean, thank you so much. This was amazing. Amazing morning. If you need me for anything, please let me know. Aurora, if you want to connect with me, please, I will send you my information.
Yes.
Let's do this again. I don't have much more time. I hope that's okay.
Aurora's got to go anyway, so I don't want to take you guys. I appreciate you both being here, but I do want Aurora to give her information now, and then you're welcome to as well, Raphael, if somebody wants to get in touch with you. I think you're both amazing ladies. Be honest with you, as a person watching this,
We have so much in common. It's wonderful.
just amazing. The things that
It's
you've
so
done, the
good
things
to
that
see
you're
that
doing.
you're not alone. There are other humans out there. We're all having the same information. We're all having the same drive. Oh my God, now I'm gonna start crying. Let me
I'm
keep
crying. I'm literally
going.
crying. I'm very sensitive. I cry all the time.
Yeah,
I'm really crying.
you can't help it because we have
Happy.
we have come in hard times in our lives,
Tough hard time.
saying and doing these things, and now we see that we're necessary and that we're here for this very valuable reason, to observe, to experience, to know, and to help assimilate the beauty that is our planet and our species. And there's other species out there that are so wonderful and willing to help us that we have to merge. You know, we have to talk to each other and we have to continue to do these things that we are doing. I am so
Well,
honored by both of you. Thank you
so
so
much
much.
strength, it gives you so much strength
Yes, it
and a
does.
backbone. And yeah, all of us, we already know we're on the right path, and we already know that we don't even really have a choice. Sometimes you say I have a
There's no
choice. We
choice.
don't really have a choice. We're too deep in it, right? When you are so deep into something and then you don't have a choice anymore, you're just too deep in it. But then, when you see there are other people, they have the exact same values, they have the exact same things that drives them and the same information. And we have to do this. We cannot not do this. How would we? How could you live with yourself? I couldn't live
There's
with
no
myself.
way you
Knowing
can.
what I
I
know,
couldn't.
keeping
You
it to
can't.
myself.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to say is that most people, I don't understand why, but they lie to their spouses, they lie to their girlfriends, they lie to their boyfriends, and they lie to everybody around them. When you lie, you're lying to the universe, and the universe hears that. You got to be truthful at all times, 100% truthful.
No time. No split intent.
Exactly, and that's part of lying. That's why lying, to me, the politicians that lie and the people that lie about different things, they're so afraid to get caught in something, but the lie is going to be even more of an intent because it causes more of, like that you said, split interference or whatever in between them and the universe. Once you split that line between you and the universe, it's hard to realign it again.
But that's how they get in. People need to know that if you have a split intent and you're telling yourself that you're a good person, but then you're doing all this shady
You're not
stuff,
the person.
the minute you go to
You're not
sleep,
a good
they
person.
start feeding stuff in your mind.
Right,
Exactly.
And
exactly.
then you're caught. And then you start doing things that you should have never done in the first
That's
place.
why we
That's
have so many fake light workers.
Don't
exactly.
even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Yeah,
Gina,
yeah.
we got to do that one. We
We
got to do
My
that one.
favorite ones. That's why I can get so angry and I go into it, and I go like, oh, because that's what they do, they steal money, they lie, they cheat, they have children, they don't care about their children, they give their children away,
Did
or
you
they
do
give
it?
their spouse and they say you can take those children, take care of them. I know one woman, she left, she had two little boys, and she just left them and moved to the other side of America so she can be a goddess. And I got so angry.
That's
I
horrible.
got so
Oh,
angry.
there's a lot of that
She
going
wanted
on.
to hang out with me, and I said, you know what? I don't want to hang out with you. And you know why? This is why. Because you have brought two children into this world and you are abandoning them. And for me, you're not a goddess. You are fake. And I don't like you. I don't want to hang out with you.
Well,
I don't hang out with people who abandon their children.
Good
even
that
if
you
I was
said so.
penniless, I would never evade my children. My children are my life. They're who you are. How can you? How could you consciously do something like that? Not only to another person that's not of you, but even your own kin.
Yeah.
I could never even think of that. That's another whole subject that I don't even understand people.
And these are
Well,
certainly from
there,
my experience
there,
from ones who say don't look at darkness, don't talk about darkness, don't follow the
Yeah, yeah,
news,
yeah, 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 yeah.
don't post about the news, because if you do, you are an agent of darkness. If I don't post about this, then
How you
who
gonna
will?
know about it?
And if I don't tell people the truth, then who will? Are we going to spend another few millennia pretending all is well, while in the ground underneath our feet all this dark sinister stuff is
You're right.
going on?
You're right.
What kind of human are you? When you go, my uncle always used to say that, and it's one of my favorite. It's an amazing thing to say, right? He says, go into the bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror, and then tell me if you can even find yourself in that mirror.
That's
You
good. That's a
know?
very good point. Yeah, very good point.
Absolutely. There's
And
so many charlatans and fakery. You know that guy, John of God, that
Oh yeah, with Oprah Winfrey. Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, everybody was so taken with him. And a lot of people that I knew that were taking classes with me ended up down there. And I kept telling them, do not. And even Oprah had sent me a journal because she wanted to find out things about me. And this was like 10 years ago. And I told those people, do not go down to South America because that guy is a fake. And now look. But then I was a judgmental person. I was not a good, I was hateful. I was not enlightened because I had so much judgment and rage against people. And I told them, well, it's the truth. And eventually, I'm very patient. You're going to see where I'm coming from. But I did give you a warning. And I had 5 families that went to see that John of God guy. And of course, they came back not wanting to tell people what they've experienced, but I know that they experienced what I told them they would experience. And it's not that I'm right or wrong, but when you get a feeling about someone, you have to acknowledge it. And if you are caused inside of your spirit to say something to someone, you just do it and you walk away.
Right.
The
that's Aurora
messenger,
of
Doesn't
the
have to reflect on everybody. We're not
you
talking
don't have
about
to
them.
think about it. You just tell them, and what the way they receive it is on them. That's what Ezekiel 33 is all about,
I got to look.
because everything in religion and spirituality will cross if it's good. You know, some things are very good. They're all gonna say the same exact thing. The messenger tells the message, plants the seeds, and moves out of the way. The way these people react to it is on them.
Beautiful.
If they come back to you so that you can explain, then you can explain more. If they want to, and they're gonna try to persecute you because that's what happened to Jesus and all the other prophets who are telling people this is wrong. That's what Ezekiel 33 is all about. I'm going to tell you because I care about you, because you mean something to me, because it's also good for my soul to be honest with you.
Right. Right.
The rest is up to you. So I commend the both of you for doing what you do, because that is what is expected if we are going to help ourselves and humanity move forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness and your honesty and everything about you, Raffaella. You're just an amazing woman.
Thank you. Thank you, Aurora. You're beautiful. And Jean, I've loved you since the day I met
Right,
you.
same way here, right here too.
And
You are
and
both
this
so
is how it works. This
beautiful.
is how it works. Aurora, you're in that that life space of beauty and courage, because this takes courage. You can't just do something like this for attention or for making money,
Yeah.
because you know a lot of people will say that that's all you're doing, but we have definitely crossed to the side that is going to make this world a better place. And
When
that's
you,
important.
when you read her book, when you do, you'll just be. I think you'll be.
I want to read it,
It's an
Aurora.
amazing book.
You're
Where can people
amazing.
get your book? Come on, let's sell your book. Where can people get it?
Well, I don't know. I think the link is, yeah, it's actually thegalacticfederation.com and new minus book. That's where you can get the book. Or you just go to thegalacticfederation.com and then you sign up for the newsletter.
Good.
And then you'll get an amazing email every day where we are really the whole day just busy trying to find the best channels, my own channels, and the best information about anything spirituality, what's going on the planet. And so we send out those every day. And then typically at the bottom of the pages is what, after reading the article, at the bottom of the page, you can also buy the book. And then also
Awesome.
you get an invitation
Well,
to, if you like, become
if
a
you
member
can send
or
me that link, I will definitely, tell people about you. Hopefully we'll talk again. I would love for my audience to hear you speak,
I'd love that.
Aurora. And of course, you too, Jean. You're on my page.
Oh, sure.
You're
Thank you.
welcome to share everything. Wow, this blew my mind today.
You too, both of you, if you have anything that you want to have shared, then just send it over and we'll put it on the Galactic Federation newsletter, because we do have a very, very big list. We do have.
What I
But
do want to share, I'm sorry, what I do want to share is that video of the Green Mothers and their orb ship that came to my friend. I think that's,
I have to see that.
I want you to see that, Aurora.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
definitely
I
want
love
you to
those
see it.
things. Everything with the UFOs and the GF, and I love seeing those things.
Because you're talking about these things, and that was just a mind-blowing thing for me that they showed up. It's not just me seeing them, and it's not just me talking about them.
Right.
And they're so beautiful. They chose someone that I just knew through my family, but we were not like close. And she came back and said, "Oh, guess what happened? They came to visit me."
Wow.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's also very rare.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time again. And
Thank you for having
anything
us.
I can do for you, let me know. And
Same.
I'm gonna keep on keeping on. That's all.
Yeah. Anytime you guys want to chat, let me know.
Oh,
Wow. Well,
always right.
love you guys.
Love you too.
Love
God
you
bless
too.
everybody.
Take
Laura,
care.
you
Come
are
on.
an amazing, amazing lady. Oh, I want to talk to you more and more and more. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the
You
time.
all
Thank you,
have
Jean.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
And I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.